Hi, I'm Mike Ball, author of The Face of Battle. In part 2 of the overview, we're going to go into more detailed rules, such as movement, combat, morale, but the most important one, activation. All units within the Face of Battle must have a unique alphanumeric label on the figure base. For example, this leader is L9. This soldier is A8. This medic over here is M12. This machine gunner is H7. This also applies for vehicles. You must uniquely identify each vehicle. So this Tiger tank could be T1, so it's T1 commander, T1 gunner, T1 loader, etc. The same thing with this vehicle here. So it would be V1, V1 driver, V1 gunner, V1 loader. If you recall from the previous overview, the combat initiative is a number of actions a unit may take within one turn. It's usually 2. That label identifier will be written on a card. It can be written on a poker chip, a counter, whatever you want to use to sequence your units during your turn. The label indicates which action card, counter, or token applies to that figure. Once you've recorded your unit ideas on a card, poker chip, or counter, you're going to take those cards and build a deck, or you could use the poker chips and counters and put them into a bag. You're going to draw one out at a time. The unit idea on that card, poker chip, or counter is the one that will perform one action. For the rest of the overview, I'm going to use cards in my examples. But like I said, you could use poker chips or counters, anything you want to activate your individual units. The Face of Battle uses decks of cards to control the forces that are on the gaming table. New players will probably only play one deck, but as you become more experienced, you could play 1, 2, 3, or even more decks of cards to control all your forces on the gaming table. All units within the Face of Battle will have 1, 2, 3, or more cards in the deck based on their combat initiative. At the start of the turn, one player will say flip. The top card of every deck is turned over and an action taken for the unit ID that is on that card. It can be movement, combat, morale, or any other action they can do. Every player within the Face of Battle should have at least one deck. This way all the players are playing at the same time. All action is simultaneous. This is really good for convention games. In a typical you go, I go, or reaction-based game, somebody may wander off to the market area while they're waiting for someone else's turn to complete. That doesn't happen in the Face of Battle. Everybody's playing all the time. You can download card templates from the Face of Battle website and print your own cards, or you can purchase blank cards like these and write the unit ID on them, or even use regular playing cards and write the unit ID on them. You can also purchase from the Face of Battle website pre-made cards which have a lot more detailed information on them. A typical deck size within the Face of Battle is between 20 and 35 cards. You logically group units within each deck. For example, this Tiger tank crew will be in one deck. This infantry squad, though, could be split between different decks. There are some limitations on what you can split between decks, but otherwise you're free to do as you please. For this example, let's assume that every unit on the table here has a combat initiative of 2. That's 2 cards in the deck per unit. Let's start with this Tiger tank. It has a commander, gunner, loader, driver, and radio operator bow machine gunner. The commander, though, is a sergeant and will also get 1 leadership card in the deck. Therefore, there's 11 cards just for this tank alone. Remember, though, the authority rule. That tank commander can only give those special actions to units within its authority, which is the tank crew. He can give an action to the gunner, he can give an action to the loader, give an action to the radio operator, but he cannot give an action to this infantry unit over here. The second group on this table is this anti-aircraft half-track. It has a driver, but it also has a crew for the gun. It's a gunner, a loader, and a corporal. The corporal, with its leadership card, can give an action to the gunner, to the loader, or to the driver. It may also command some of these ground units, but the corporal may not give an action to the tank. It has no authority over that tank. The final group is this infantry section. It has a lieutenant with 3 leadership cards. He could use those leadership actions to give an extra command to the infantry unit or this anti-aircraft half-track. He cannot, though, give it to the tank. Also in this section is a machine gunner, the medic, and 3 soldiers. So the Tiger tank is 11 cards. This anti-aircraft half-track is 9 cards. If we put those together in the same deck, that makes a nice 20-card deck. This infantry squad is 15 cards. But we can add the 5 special vehicle movement cards to the deck of the infantry squad, and that will increase it to 20 and match the same as this unit here. Therefore, each deck will have 20 cards in them. The 5 special vehicle movement cards are added to the deck of the force that has vehicles in it. You only put 5 in, and you can put it in any deck that's under control of that side. The vehicle movement cards are used to determine when vehicles move. Drivers don't do that, they stop, turn the vehicles. That way, if you had a whole column of vehicles, when a vehicle movement card is drawn, they all move at the same time. So now we have the card decks for my forces. We have a 20 card deck for these 2 vehicles here, and we have our 20 card deck for our infantry squad. We could combine this into a 40 card deck, but that's getting pretty big. We want to keep the deck small. Now, if your opponent though has a deck size, say of 23 cards each, we'll have to increase these decks to 23. All decks on the table must have the exact same number of cards. In this case, 23. We need to add 3 buffer cards to each of these decks to get them to 23. A buffer card is simply a no action card. We try to keep the decks as little buffer cards in them as possible because it's a no action. A couple of mistakes I've seen at conventions is when a soldier dies, people will take the cards out of the deck. You've got to leave those cards in there so that every deck remains the same size. Those dead soldier cards will just become buffer cards. Another mistake is if a leader card is drawn, not a leadership card, but a leader card is drawn, that's when the leader does something, move, shoot. It is not when he gives an action to another unit. One thing that may occur at the end of a turn is that players may have unflipped cards. That's okay. Just let them flip them out one at a time until all the decks are exhausted. When all the decks are exhausted, that's the end of a turn. In another video, I'll go on to detailed deck building strategies and tutorials. But for now, let's go on to further game mechanics. When a unit's card is pulled from the deck, one of their actions can be movement. For 15 and 20 millimeter figures, the distance is 5 inches. For 25 millimeter figures, the distance would be 10 inches. Instead of using a tape measure, I like to download and print these 5-inch templates from the Face of Battle website. For those that are using 15 millimeter figures or 25 millimeter figures, you actually can download scale specific measurements. So for 15, it would actually be 3.75 inches. For 25 millimeters, it's 6.25 inches. To do a move, it's very simple. The soldier here is going to move 5 inches. That's his action. Now, he might not like being cut out in the open there, so you can do a special move called a fatigue move. A fatigue move will double the movement in one action. What you do then is put a fatigue counter on this unit. That unit now will suffer a ×2 die roll penalty for any combat or task-related actions. To remove a fatigue, it takes one action. It cannot be a leadership action. The leader cannot command you to be untired. Only the unit itself can remove a fatigue counter. That fatigue counter, though, could stay with the unit throughout the entire game, although every die roll will be ×2. Well, that's it for movement for today. Let's move on to the fun thing, combat. Combat within the Face of Battle is pretty straightforward. But if you recall from the first video, it's that attention to detail that makes this game so fun to play. Within the core rulebook, we go through generic data for all different types of weapons, submachine guns, machine guns, rifles. In the nationality books, we go into even more detail of the specific weapons for that nation. Such details include things like the firing mode. Is it a single-shot weapon? Does it spray fire, burst fire, or open a fire lane like a machine gun would? Now, single shot's pretty straightforward. A rifle would shoot a single shot. Spray firing is from a submachine gun. Bursting fire is from a machine gun. A unique thing a machine gun can do is open a fire lane. Only certain machine guns can do that. MG42 can. A British Bren gun cannot open a fire lane. A fire lane means that it's doing a continuous stream of fire to one beaten zone. Units passing through this stream of fire or into and out of the beaten zone may take damage. It's great for suppressing fire. Other details are the different ranges for the different type of weapons, the different ranges for the different type of firing modes. Is it a semi-automatic weapon? That means it'll get 2 shots per action. Also, the quality of the weapon, will that cause it to malfunction more often? So let's do a small example of combat with these units that are on the table here. We have a Russian soldier over here, and his force is probably back over there. And we have 2 German soldiers here, soldier and a leader, our Lieutenant L9. So let's say this is the last card in the deck. It just so happened to be L9's leadership card. This soldier does not get an action. He decides to give a leadership action to this soldier here to move. He wants him to do a fatigue move, so he'll go right to this corner here. That's within the range. And he's going to put a fatigue counter on him. Like that. And that ends the turn. Before we go on to our next turn, there's 2 concepts I want to go over. That's cover and terrain types. Cover is how much of the soldier you can see. This Russian soldier here is probably kneeling against the hedge, so you can see from about here up. He's in good cover. This German soldier here is kind of peeking around the corner, which you'd see about half of him, so he's in partial cover. Cover affects your to-hit die roll. The second thing is the terrain type. This hedge here is soft terrain. Bullets could easily go through that. This building here is hard terrain. Much more protection for that soldier hiding around the corner. Terrain type will again affect your damage die roll. All the cards are shuffled and we're going to start our second turn. Flip. Unfortunately, this soldier card did not come up. He's not having a very good day. This German soldier card here, though, did come up. He has 2 options. He can remove this fatigue, or he can decide to engage that soldier in firearm combat. He decides to engage with his Gewehr 43 semi-automatic rifle. That means he's going to get 2 shots this one action. Measuring the range between the figures, this figure is within 10 inches of the German soldier. That is short range for that rifle. The combat value of the soldier is 7, plus 2 for short range is 9. The good cover, though, is a -4 modifier, brings it down to a 5. So his target value is 5 to hit that soldier behind that hedge. He's going to roll a d10, but remember, though, he has to double it because his fatigue counter. He rolls a 7, double to 14, that's a miss. He rolls a 2, double to 4, that's a hit. So consulting our damage table using the soft column, we're going to roll a d10. There is no modifier because it's a single shot weapon. He rolls an 8, which is a morale -5. So this morale value of this soldier is an 8. Is reduced now to a 3 or less on a d10. He rolls a 6. He fails his morale check. Since this is his first morale failure, he becomes shaken. A shaken is just like a fatigue, is that it will double his die rolls until he removes it himself or through a leadership action or leadership command. This shaken counter will follow him around all throughout the game. Flip, another card is drawn from all the decks on the table. It just is not this guy's day. His card was not drawn. It happened to be the leadership card of L9 was drawn. He's going to give an action to this soldier right here. He cannot, though, through a leadership action, remove that fatigue counter. So he's going to tell him to shoot. Now that Gewehr 43, remember, is a semi-automatic rifle and it can fire 2 shots per action. And his chance was 5 or less to hit that soldier. Let's see what happens. He rolls a 5, but it is doubled because he's fatigued, so it's a 10 and a miss. He's going to roll again. a 7, which is doubled to 14, again a miss. Flip, another card is drawn from all decks. This time it's the Russian soldier and the German soldier's card happen to be turned at the exact same time. That's okay, it's simultaneous action. The German soldier is kind of fed up with this fatigue counter on him doubling all his die rolls, so he's going to use his action to remove that fatigue counter. So this Russian soldier is going to engage this soldier here with his PPSH-41. The PPSH-41 has a select rate of fire, meaning it could fire a single shot in semi-automatic mode, or it could spray fire. The spray fire has a shorter range, but it does have a better chance of hitting and also causing better damage because he's behind this stone building here. So he's going to spray fire at him. This is the beaten zone for that submachine gun. It could actually hit up to 3 targets within that beaten zone. But right now there's only the 1 target there, so he'll just attack that one. His combat value is 6, which is lowered to 4 because of the -2 partial cover. He's not in short range, so he does not get a range bonus. He does get a +1 for spraying fire. So his 6 to 4 also becomes a 5. He rolls a 2. His 2 is doubled to a 4 because he's shaken, less than 5. He hits the German soldier. The German soldier, though, is behind hard cover. So he's going to use the hard cover column. He rolls a 3. It's -1 because he spray fired, is reduced to a 2. It's a wound. This soldier is now wounded. Now, a wound result is a little different than a fatigue or a shaken. A fatigue you can remove, a shaken you can recover from morale. A wound can only be removed by a medic. The wound on this soldier means he can still play, but he's now ×2 times all his rolls. Flip, and another card is drawn from all the decks. These 2 units cards are not turned over. This soldier card, though, happens to be turned over again. He fires again at this German soldier here. Chance was 5. He rolls a 3, which is doubled to a 6, and he misses. Flip, and the top card of all the decks is flipped over. These 2 soldiers were not revealed, but this soldier was. He's going to shoot a spray fire again at that soldier on the corner. As you recall, his chance was 5, but it will be doubled due to his shaken result here. He rolls a 1, which is doubled to a 2. He hits this soldier again. Consulting the hard column, he rolls a 2, which is -1 is down to a 1 because of the spray fire, results in another wound. This soldier here now has 2 wounds on him and he's incapacitated. He's basically out of the game now. He's not dead, so that really counts for campaign games or victory conditions. So this ends our mock battle. In the next video, I'll do a meeting engagement between a Russian force and a German force, and we'll go through all these mechanics in much more detail. There are various events which may cause a morale check, such as combat, or other morale-related events around these units. First time a unit suffers a morale check failure, they will become shaken. That shaken will stay with them until they take 1 action to remove it. All their die rolls will be doubled while shaken. A leader may also remove a shaken result. A shaken unit which fails its morale check will become pinned. A pinned unit will go prone and basically move to cover it. A pinned unit can do no actions. It only can remove the pin result. A leader, though, can also remove a pin result. A pinned unit that fails its morale check will break. A broken unit can do no actions, and it cannot recover its own morale failure. It may also affect the morale of other units around it. Only a leader can fix a broken unit. A broken soldier that fails its morale check may actually surrender, which may then cause surrender events to all the units that are around it. That is why it's very important to keep your leader with your units. That leader, through its leadership actions or leader commands, will remove all these morale effects. So that's all for now. I'd love to know your comments. Don't forget to hit subscribe. Thanks so much for watching.